Welcome back, everybody, to the Triad of the Force podcast. I am your host, Goose.
And I am Nad.
And we are a Puerto Rican podcast, and today it's only 50% Puerto Rican, but that's okay. It's totally fine. As you can see, we're keeping the intro short this time, so we can just get into the meat and potatoes. That way, you don't need to wait like 30 seconds or whatnot to start listening to our conversation. That way, we can just get it going. So here we are. How's it going, Nat? Welcome to your second episode.
Oh my God, thank you so much. It feels great to be here. I'm already getting comfortable, kicking my feet up. Now,
just keep your shoes on. That's all we ask. This is, I know you're in
this is
your
not
home.
This is not a
it's still a public
podcast.
space. Yeah, still a public space.
No feet for free on
no, not for free. That's on Patreon. That's on Patreon. I don't know what the rules are over there, though.
There are no rules on Patreon.
Huh?
I'm doing well today. It's warm here in sunny Los Angeles. And by the time this is going to be released, it will be Pride Month. So happy Pride, everybody.
Happy Pride to all who celebrate, which should be everybody.
Everyone, because Pride is for everyone. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. How are you today, Goose?
I am bursting through the seams with positivity. That's how I am.
You seem... I got on the call with you and I was like, wait, is that the baby sun from Teletubbies shining so brightly with so much positivity this morning?
No, it's just my shirt. If for those listening, my shirt is, it's mustard, but I guess we could
it's a nice warm mustard.
That it's a sunburst yellow.
Yeah.
Let's just pretend it is. I'm a ray of sunshine.
He really is.
I moisturize, so that's maybe why I have that baby face, sunlit baby face. I don't moisturize. But yeah, here we are in the aftermath. 1 week removed since the release of the juggernaut that is Mando and Grogu, and what a journey it's been.
Yeah,
I feel like all of our lives have changed
after Mando Grogu. Is how it was interesting. To start counting time.
It was interesting to see like all the reactions online to some of our opinions on there, which I thought was interesting. I thought we were fair. I don't think we were negative.
We were quite fair. I think we were kind of talking about this before we got on the call. I do think that people have a propensity to be a little bit reactionary maybe towards like any kind of negativity about Disney Star Wars. Sort of maybe as an overcorrection from the amount of hate bros that there are out there. But no, I think that we were extremely fair. And also, as you and I were talking about, reviews are okay. And it's okay to review things poorly and also review things fairly, which I believe we did.
But most importantly, honestly, right? Like
honestly, exactly.
I think it's like how we... And like we've always strived to do this, right? I try. It's like come at it from not just an honest perspective, but from our cultural and personal perspectives, right? It's just like we're seeing like how we connect to these things. But doesn't mean that I hate it. I hate it. Look who I got here.
Look at that. Look at that beautiful baby boy.
And for those who are only listening, like I'm holding up my new son, ROTta the Hutt. It's just like just because
it's not Grogu.
It's not Grogu. That baby's out. That baby's out with the bathwater. Now we got a Huttlet. We got baby ROTta up in the house.
A small slug.
Shout out to the Toxic Collector over on the gram, over on Instagram, for being very kind and generous to make a custom size version for me because
like
custom. It's custom, yeah. Technically, they're all custom because they're hand painted, I guess. But he was offering it in two sizes. One was like 12 inches, and one was 1/16 of that. And I'm just like, that's a range. Can I have something in the middle? Like because one was like a little pebble, and the other one's a mastodon. And I know that if I brought the giant Huttlet here, I would, my living situations would change.
Put it on the bedside table to watch over you.
That would, night terrors probably. I think there's a limit to how big a baby can be until they become terrifying. There's an appropriate size.
Absolutely.
There's a movie about this. It's Honey, I Blew Up the Kids. Like,
Yeah.
Like blew up the baby. Sorry, like that movie, that baby. Once he
That baby
became
was too
big,
big.
once he was
That was
big, no one liked him.
I
No
know.
one.
Well, the thing is also babies like in and of themselves are just like um unregulated little psychopaths because they don't know what's
Right.
going on in the world. And so
They
once
don't.
you the bigger it gets, the scarier it becomes.
True.
Kind
True.
of like we remember the baby Rancor episode of Bad Batch.
We do. Oh my god, I totally forgot about that. We are living in a good
Deep cut.
era for baby creatures in the Star Wars mythos.
They said we're doing babies
We're doing
and
baby
hot
everything.
dads.
We're
That's
doing
all we've
baby
got these days.
everything.
We're doing
So,
babies that are apolitical.
I mean, if you think about it, all babies are, just like all babies
True.
are
Except for Boss
a-religious.
Baby,
But,
who's a
well,
capitalist pig.
we don't talk about Boss Baby. We don't talk about bosses. Anyway,
Yeah,
only baby.
true.
Only baby.
And I think that brings us to one of the main subjects of our chat, of our yap sesh today, which is ROTta the Hutt.
ROTta the Hutt.
It's the Brain ROTta episode.
Brain ROTta. It was great. You came up with it. We were messaging before coming to record, trying to come up with a subject. I suggested ROTta, and then you did the Brain ROTta, and it's like perfect.
No this notes. Is my victory lap.
Excellent. That's it. That's what we're gonna do. I hope to be kept in check, because I will say that my brain is. I feel that as we were saying before we started recording, I feel like I'm a car without new technology that keeps me in the lane. I need my lane check the technology to move me back in. So we're gonna do this.
I'm big tech in this scenario.
Yes. You're I was gonna say AI chat, but that's not really what that is.
What? How dare you?
Whatever.
Okay. So how did, now that we're a week out and you've seen the movie four times and I've seen the movie one time.
Wow.
On my own dime, might I add.
I've seen it twice on my own dime.
I know. You've also paid more than me at this point. You've contributed far more than me.
The mouse
God knows that Disney needs it too.
They might, and we'll talk a little bit about box office, because they might actually need a couple bucks after this.
But how are you feeling specifically about this new titan of a character that we have been introduced to, played by the eminent Jeremy Allen White?
I think that's still a surprising character to me, because, and I'm glad that we're doing a deeper dive into him this week than obviously we had time to last week, since we were talking about the whole of the film. But it's one of those characters where it's such a I was gonna say left wing, a swing from out of nowhere to just bring this character. And even though we knew that he was going to be in it based on the trailers, like how the character was used was very surprising to me.
It really,
in so many ways.
I will say, the movie somehow was like both extremely predictable and also I couldn't very surprising at every moment, just because I was like, surely this is what we're gonna do now. Oh no, we're actually gonna do this other thing that I was worried we might do, but this is happening. But I will say, nothing could have possibly prepared me for ROTta the Hutt.
Did you watch the Clone Wars animated film?
Oh, I absolutely watched the Clone. I watched it. I think I watched it when it came out on TV. Because it came out on TV, right?
It was theatrically released, but from my understanding, and I could be wrong.
It did not do well. No, it
absolutely did not do well. And it was I think originally it was just supposed to be, a couple of episodes, but then George decided to just smush a couple of them together and make a movie. Oh my god, I got like deja vu saying that. And it just became the Clone Wars film, and it's so interesting, so interesting to see how far we've come.
It's so funny too, because I feel like people really hate on it as a movie. I don't think it's not great. It obviously is a bunch of episodes smushed together, but it is also just really
I just looked
And
it up. The movie came out 2008. That was all
oh
the
my
cells in
god,
this body were completely different.
we
Ship of
we might
Theseus.
have, dude, we might have people listening to this who were born in 2008.
I will commit seppuku now.
My seppuku moment.
2008. Your faithful host was already in college,
In
discovering that life
2008,
was a little more complicated.
making big discoveries, creating critical thinking skills that would go on to bless us by helping us to make this podcast happen for you guys.
Correct.
See?
Correct.
Full circle moment.
It is.
But having Stinky revived as a character, I feel like personally I didn't put all of these pieces together until the film was actually coming out. Because I distinctly remember hearing, like, years ago, right, that Jeremy Allen White was going to be in Star Wars and he was going to be playing a Hutt. And I was like, what?
Exactly.
Like,
Just like, that's a sentence that shouldn't exist.
What's happening right now? And I was like, the guy from The Bear? And then it got tucked away into one of my brain folds somewhere back there, amongst other things. And then I was seeing a bunch of people talking about Stinky online, and I was like, wait, ROTta the Hutt? And then I was like, oh my god, wait, someone also told me that, like, ROTta the Hutt is, like, hot. And then I was like, oh my god, wait, all of these things are coming together right now. Okay, so ROTta the Hutt is in this, and he's buff. And also, that's Stinky now? And then I was like, wait, this is the Hutt played by Jeremy Allen White! There are so many memories being put back together right now, and none of them make sense to me personally. And then I went to see the movie, and genuinely, again, nothing could have prepared. Nothing could have prepared me for Jeremy Allen White playing ROTta the Hutt. I guess I was expecting them to, like, change his voice.
Well, I expected him. Oh my god! See, I promised I was gonna stay positive.
No, do it.
I expected him to act.
We all expected him to act. Actually, I talked to my fiance about this.
He's a good actor. I've seen him in The Iron Claw. He's got range.
Yeah, I've only ever seen him in, like, well, I guess because the first time I saw him was when he was in Shameless, and he's a good actor. I feel like I don't know that much about his range though, because I've only ever seen him in Shameless and then in The Bear, which are, like, very similar characters. So I don't know that well about his range.
Maybe I should just leave him here. Yes.
We should have called. He's holding up, for those of you who are only on audio, he's holding up the ROTta the Hutt again. We should have called him in as the third host because Nani couldn't be here today.
Yeah, I don't know that would have been entertaining.
The
monotone slug.
The monotone slug.
He was great. He was great. No, he was great.
Here's the thing. The lack of acting somehow worked for the character. Because as I showed you in the fan art I made and sent to you, Goose, I feel like the character itself ended up being, like, very emo, sort of. I don't want to be like my dad. And so, honestly, having it just be Jeremy Allen White talking, not really acting.
He's his own man. He's his own man.
He really is his own man. I was like, also, okay, wait, this was something else I was wondering about. Did we hear him speak Huttese? Like,
yes, like,
okay,
one
he
sentence.
Does. Okay, like, one sentence. Sick, good. That's
he's
so
like,
good.
He's like, nailed it.
He's like, and that's all I had to do.
They were like, okay, you're gonna speak a couple sentences in Huttese, and he's like, absolutely not. And they're like, okay, how about one? He's like, okay.
He's like, I guess I can do it.
Let me take a shot of vodka before I do this.
I wish he'd taken more shots. Again, this is, like, my one big complaint. My biggest complaint with him is that they didn't at least, like, make his voice a little bit more Hutty.
Yeah.
Because I just was like, for me, again, it's
because they did with the twins, right? The twins speak English, but at least they're like,
you know. But that might be because they actually hired voice actors for them. That might be.
Keep it positive.
I'm being positive. I'm being realistic.
Do you think
I'm being honest?
Do you feel that when the twins were introduced in the Book of Boba Fett, which is what's cool, you know, people give that show a lot of shit for being bad. And I like the Book of Boba Fett.
I am
Has
one of the people.
has wonky moments. I think it lost the plot like by the end of it, and it could have used at least $10 more in the budget. But the twins, I think, were great inclusion, right? It was good, especially with connecting everything with him being the daimyo and all the Hutt stuff, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is great. But when that happened, do you think that the wheels were turning in old Favreau's brain and all Filoni? They got together and they're
He
like,
was
hey,
like,
you know what would be great?
let's bring back the twins.
Stinky.
I was actually, yeah. Oh, you think that they were like, we've got the twins, we've got
Yeah,
this happening.
they're Jabba's.
What about Stinky?
I mean, they're Jabba's siblings, right? They're
Yeah.
the
Well, are all
uncle.
of the Hutts kind of related?
I don't want to know. That seems like a disturbing conversation to have.
This seems like a personal. This seems like something that would be a video I would make on like my personal.
I did see
Instagram.
someone doing a family tree of Hutts. I'm just like, that's.
I gotta find that.
I'm like,
No, okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
I was excited to have the twins back because I was like, oh, these are like pretty good, like sinister characters, you know? Like, and I also appreciate how much world building goes into the crime world of Star Wars, I feel like, and I think that that is something that Disney has maintained pretty well, actually, and like we got to see more of in also like Maul Shadow Lord and stuff like that. And so I was actually one of my most beloved moments in the film was when we were like going into our first trip to Nal Hutta of like 15 that we had to take in the movie.
Yeah.
And he's walking into like the their like palace mushroom tree thing that they live in. And we get like all of the shots of like what's going on in the mushroom tree and like all of the Hutts gooping around and stuff. I really liked that a lot.
Good.
And I feel like, yeah, it was like a really good moment to be like, oh, okay, like we're pulling back the Hutts. We're like getting more into also like Hutt lore, and we're also pulling in the twins from Book of Boba Fett, and also time for me to do my big one and launch. Stinky is back in the building.
Which
and I wonder,
they did not call him Stinky. I'm very upset about. I'm not actually. Good.
I guess
shot.
Yeah, they didn't call him Stinky at any point, huh?
Which I get it. A lot of
Well,
people
I
would
guess
have been
there
like,
wouldn't
why?
really be any reason to call him Stinky because I think that was like pretty much just Ahsoka who would call him that. I don't think that was like a widely disseminated nickname.
No, but alas, here we are, and Jeremy Allen White playing another. I don't know if disgruntled son is the right
No,
phrasing.
I think disgruntled son is a good phrase.
It's a good one.
It.
It's a good one. Okay, well, let's run with it. In a running series in Star Wars of sons and fathers, and it's one of those things where I'm just like, this is an interesting. Well, it's not. I mean, it's not a trope. That's life, right? Fathers have sons, and sons have fathers, and they have their interpersonal relationships. I know I have a father. Oh, I wouldn't quite call him a crime lord, though. Maybe the opposite of one. But actually, no, because he's not a cop, and that's the opposite of a crime lord in a lot of ways.
I don't
Anyway,
know. A cop is not the opposite of a crime lord. Are you kidding me? Cops are like one of the gangs in this country, essentially.
Touche. What was I saying? But as I was, as I've continued to think about this film, I think it's also very interesting to see ROTta the Hutt as a continued reflection on Jon Favreau's filmography, right? Because I started just thinking of how he has engaged with all of his films, especially like his most well-known ones, which is what we'll stick to here. And like the man either loves his father or hates his father, because all of his films, in one way or another, are about fathers and sons. Iron Man, like Tony Stark has like big chip on his shoulder from
I forgot
his
that's
father.
like a massive part of the Iron Man. I haven't watched it in so long. I forgot that that's such a massive like component of Tony Stark's character.
Yeah. And Iron Man 2 even more so, because Iron Man 2, I mean, I know
it's like him dealing with like his secondary father figure almost, who's like,
yes, and like all these things of him
evil and
going back and like having all the old films of his father where he's giving him the clues to know like how to build a better arc reactor and all that stuff. It's like this always like this relationship back and forth with the legacy and then
Yeah.
the interpersonal relationship. Chef, also a film that it's very
I haven't seen
autobiographical for
Chef.
fat. Oh, it's really good. Maybe we should do an episode about it because there's I've been talking about that movie a lot lately with my partner and has really given me a brand new perspective
I'm
on
writing
that
it down.
film. But that movie also has a lot of parts that are about Jon Favreau's character, the titular chef, as it were, with his son, and like how their relationship is broken in the beginning because of how he's dealing with his career and how he is able to reconcile. I mean, it's a feel good movie, so there's not a spoiler. How he's able to reconcile his relationship with his son. So there's this through line, right, of Favreau that he
That's so interesting. Yeah, I never
continues to
even
do
thought
that.
about that. That's really true. And it's like it is interesting too, because like kind of one of the things we talked about last episode is like, oh, I feel like they didn't do a lot with like Mando and Grogu's
Hmm.
father-son relationship. But we did get a lot actually of like Jabba X ROTta
Hmm. Hmm.
father-son relationship. That's so interesting. Yeah, I never even would have thought of that without you bringing that up. And yeah, it does make me wonder. I like what was your relationship with your father like, Favreau? Was he a crime lord?
Which is fascinating because at the premiere, and this is not a brag, it's just the video's out there for anyone that wasn't there. Favreau was talking about how his father was in the theater and like how his dad took him to see Star Wars when he was a kid in LA,
Oh.
and now he gets to like make this new Star Wars movie that is about fathers and son and show it to his father in the same theater where they saw Star Wars back in '77. And I was like, that's beautiful. So I hope that that is a testament that you guys have a good relationship, or at least you have fixed a relationship that maybe was broken. I do not know. I have not
Yeah,
looked
and
up what their relationship was like.
I will say it's interesting too because I think, as anyone who has parents, who has family, I think like most families have difficult interpersonal relationships
Mhm.
at some point, if not consistently. Um, it's never like, for the most part, even when you're like a lot of the time at your worst point with your parents, I think there's still part of you that's like, well, I love you because you're my parent
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
lot of the time. Not always, but it is an interesting thing too to see like how I don't know. I think like a lot of the time, especially movies show just like isolated incidents of like relationships with family and like can sometimes do a bad job of like
Mhm.
showing how fluid and changing they can be, or at least like not great movies, bad movies don't do a good job of showing that. And so it is interesting that you bring up like how so many of his movies talk about like father-son relationships, and how in this movie I feel like both of us were like upset that we didn't get more out of like
Yeah.
Mando
Yeah.
and Grogu's father-son relationship.
Because I'm a
And I
sucker for all those things.
Yeah,
Indiana
I
Jones and the
love it.
Last Crusade. Love it. Hook,
Yeah.
also ultimately a story about father and son. Amazing. Obviously, those are two
Mhm.
Spielberg films. But I think those movies really touch to the core of like how you do an emotionally resonant film where your characters are dealing with that kind of relationship and how
Yeah.
and the best father son movie of all time, a goofy movie.
It is.
And I say that seriously. This is not a bit. A Goofy movie is probably one of the
It's so
greatest films of all time.
wholesome. It's so wholesome. I have to rewatch it. I haven't rewatched it in so long. But
Have you
yeah,
seen
I
the
feel like
documentary about the making of it?
no,
I
there's a
just
documentary.
it came out maybe like a year or two ago. I don't know. It's on Disney Plus. It incredible. You must watch it.
Okay, excellent. And I have a Disney Plus subscription, as we know,
Aha!
because I'm
Gotta support the
enslaved to
mouse.
Disney forever now because I make Star Wars content.
Thank you, Mickey Mouse.
The mouse owns me. No, but I think like with the like kind of father-son relationship of Rada and Jabba, something I will say, I felt like it was a little bit one note, at least,
Mhm,
because I
mhm.
feel like we just got Rada being like, I don't want to be like my dad. I don't want to be like my dad. He's a crime lord. I don't want to be a criminal like my dad.
Yeah, it's a lot of saying. It's just like,
It's
okay.
just, I know. And like, I obviously, like, this movie was oriented around Mando and Grogu, right? Like, we're not getting flashbacks from ROTta or
Hey, you
anything
don't know if
like
the
that.
sequel's gonna be called The
But
Mandalorian and
I
Grogu and ROTta.
just, one of my followers was like, I want them to make a cop buddy style show that's just ROTta and Grogu solving crimes
I
together.
mean, that would work.
I would watch it.
I think that would work better, like as a like short format, like short form, uh,
Animated?
anime. No, not as I mean, sure, animated,
I
but
think it would be good
like an
animated.
Instagram show or something like that. It's just like
Totally.
like a 1 minute episode, stuff like that. I don't think it would support a
Oh,
full 30.
I couldn't watch 40 minutes episodes of it.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, do you feel like overall bringing back this character was, do you feel, for you personally, Goose, net positive or net negative, just in general?
Net positive. Net
Same.
positive. Net positive. My I don't want to qualify it. Or
You
maybe I
can
will.
qualify it.
My thing, right, is what you were just saying. It's a lot of his character was very much my dad, right? And like that's all great, but we have to kind of see it, or at least if you're going to talk about it, at least have a heartfelt monologue about it instead of just being like,
Yeah.
well, people cheered for, and like you have the same monologue twice. That's kind of
Oh
just
my
like a
god.
variation of the thing that you already had said. So like that was kind of my issue of it, which is a greater issue of like the film is, right? Because
Yeah, it was like,
Rada in a lot of ways as it's a deep cut character from the Clone Wars, but ultimately he's a connection to the original trilogy in Jabba the Hutt.
mhm.
And it's just like, look, millennials and Gen Xers and boomers, like the that character that Leia strangled in a bikini in that movie from 40 years ago, he has a son. If you haven't seen the animated one, don't worry, animated stuff is for kids. This is live action. So see how we're connecting it, and he kind of looks like him because he's a Hutt.
See,
Which
see,
you
see.
know, so I'm like, it keeps feeling
Mhm.
cynical, right? As much as I think that he technically works, and I think he could have worked much better in the film based on his character development and what his story means for both Grogu and the Mandalorian and Din Djarin. I
Mhm.
think that his inclusion is still, and I'm going to divert off the lanes a little bit here, but I have to.
I'm ready.
I have to. It's kind of simple, and it's. I will qualify
I
this
have
by
a gun.
saying,
No.
I will qualify this by saying this is because I am about to go to see a movie that's
Mhm.
not the Mandalorian Grogu, and I'll say what movie it is in a minute. And yesterday I saw a different movie, and I'll say which movie it is in a minute. And these two movies are, I feel, a response to what's happening right now with media and big film IPs, and why like there's a big disconnect between audiences and films, right?
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, like the Mandalorian Grogu, we talked about it last episode, and with Rada and a lot of these things, like there are these things that seem to be placed there in a safe way to connect you to something that you're supposed to feel an emotional attachment to, and kind
Mhm.
of, I don't want to say manipulate you, but influence you, to use the pardons of
Mhm.
our times, to go see it and help the movie generate $1 billion. And I think that people are tired of that, especially like Gen Zs, like that have no emotional attachment maybe to like the older Star Wars or more of prequel kids and all these things. Like it's like having all this
Yeah.
nostalgia boom for things from 40 years ago. It's not to them, and like especially with this age of of AI, right, and like manufactured things that don't seem real, and everything is artificial, and like we are craving for humanity. Like I think that it's very telling that I was just reading an article about this right before we started recording, that this is the second week, right, of Mando and Grogu in theaters, and it saw a 70%. And I usually don't give a flying fuck about the box offices because I don't care how much money
Mhm.
multi-billion-dollar corporations are making. But in this case,
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to kind of see the parallel, right? That like Star Wars return in 7 years, like after
Yeah.
making all this money the first week and saw a 70% drop off in its box office. It's going to be
70% is
is insane.
crazy.
It's going to start being removed from IMAX so that Masters of the Universe can start taking those
Oh my
dates.
God, I didn't even know about
Yep.
that. Oh my
And but
God.
here's the kicker that's gonna tie my point with a little bow, a little ROTta sized bow. So a pretty big bow actually.
A big
A
bow.
big bow. But then these two films that came out, one came out a couple weeks ago, and one came out this week, that are two indie horror films made by YouTube creators, young, I mean 20-year-old,
Oh, I
20
didn't know
year
they were
olds.
both by YouTube creators.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like
we
Obsession and
love to see
Backrooms.
it.
We love to see it. Obsession and Backrooms both are original films that aren't tied to a big IP,
Yeah.
have dethroned and are beating dethroned Mandalorian and Grogu and beating box office expectations. And to me,
Yeah.
that it's a good thing to me,
It's
honestly.
I agree. I completely wholeheartedly agree. There's one of the many YouTubers I really like, Foreign Man in a Foreign Land. He called it he was talking about, I forget, a bunch of stuff sort of similar to this, but he calls it the exploitation of nostalgia,
Mhm, mhm,
essentially,
mhm.
which is like exactly what I feel like. I mean, so many big movie makers, like production companies, are leaning on right now is this exploitation of nostalgia,
Mhm.
because they're too afraid to like take any risk on making something new. And I think like that is something that, like, unfortunately, I feel like ROTta's character ended up being to some degree as well. And like honestly, so does like kind of Baby Grogu, I
Yeah,
feel like,
yeah,
as well.
100%.
It's like all of this like, oh, see, like, come see new Star Wars because look, these things that you like from
Yeah.
old Star Wars are in it, but we're not gonna inst and again, before anyone gets upsetty spaghetti in the comments about this, I'm allowed to have an opinion that is nuanced about this movie. I'm not saying you're a bad person if you didn't like this movie. I liked parts of this movie, and I like a lot of parts of newer Disney Star Wars. It is a many faceted mosaic beast, right?
Correct.
But I would say overall, they say, look at these things, these nostalgic things you liked about old Star Wars. Don't you want to come see new Star Wars because of that? Not because we're doing meaningful storylines, not because we're making up new and like creative
Hmm.
things that you might want to see. But look, don't you want to come see it? Because look, Baby Grogu's in it. Look, this other character that you remember and
Hmm.
you really like from the Clone Wars is in it. Look, see, we're exploiting your nostalgia
Yeah.
um, to make you come and see this thing. And once you go and you see it and you say, oh, okay, well now I like, because like I basically I was my partner was like, I don't really want to go see the movie, and he was like, can you just tell me what happens in it? I was like, okay, me telling you about the plot of this movie is going to sound like a
Insane.
child trying to
Yeah.
tell you about their day. Like, it's going to sound crazy and unhinged, but I promise you that this is just the way the plot worked. And like that is, I think, how a lot of people, especially after like the first week, after people were like, oh, this is what happens in the movie, even if they were positive reviews, because there were a lot of people who
There
felt
were a
very
lot. Yeah, yeah,
positively
yeah.
about it. A lot of people we're seeing are like, okay, well, I don't really want to go and pay to see all that, especially because we're in this massive economic crisis right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Movie tickets are not cheap. Why would I go and spend $17 basically on, at least like that's like almost how much my ticket costs to see it
Hmm.
here in LA? Why would I go and spend that much money to see this thing that like is trying to prey on my nostalgia and
When I
not
can
go
just see
see
it on Disney
something?
Plus.
Yeah, exactly. When I can just see it on Disney Plus when it eventually comes out, and like most people's home TVs and home audio setups now, well, not obviously theater grade, are pretty freaking good. So it's not
Yeah.
like we're like sacrificing that much, you know?
It's
Um,
it's very telling because I also compare it to, I mean, because what you're saying is absolutely right, and I think
mhm.
where it is most blatant is with Marvel, right, and the MCU, where like
Ah,
the first couple of phases, we're having a good time, rocking and
we were
rolling, making
cooking.
we were cooking so hard, and I'm not a Marvel hater for the new stuff. I think there's a lot of really good stuff out there, but there's a big symptom also of just like look at the thing from the other thing on
Yeah,
Marvel right
no,
now,
exactly,
especially with
exactly.
I think the biggest culprit of it and it's unfortunate that it made $1 billion, was Deadpool and Wolverine. It's just that
I did.
movie.
I did go and see. I
I
hate
loved it. I
Ryan
loved it, but
Reynolds.
it's creatively bankrupt. Also,
I
it's just
personally hate Ryan Reynolds so much. I
I
want
hate him in
everyone who
everything
listens to the
else.
podcast to know that I personally hate Ryan Reynolds and I hate Mint Mobile ads, unless they want to sponsor us.
I'll still hate him, but I'll take the
I'll
sponsorship.
still hate him, but I'll take his money.
I'll shake his hand.
Honestly, though, yeah, I do
But he
feel like
works
he's a
at
good
Deadpool because he's a
Deadpool. He is a
douchebag.
good
And
Deadpool. Yeah, because he's annoying as shit.
can't act.
No,
So this is it. This is all he can do.
I know.
Sorry.
Sorry.
We're
Remember when
keeping
you
it
were
positive,
like,
though.
you were like, Nad, you have to keep us on track. You have to keep us positive today.
It's okay. It's okay. We're living our truth.
We're being real. And in Pride Month, what else would you want us to do, guys? Honestly,
What?
guys, if you get upset with me specifically for having these opinions right now, homophobic of you.
True.
So
I support
yeah,
that. I support
think
that.
about that.
I'll filter out all your comments in support of Pride Month. But yeah. I think Star Wars is kind of like, at least with projects like these Mandoverse things, is not as egregious as Deadpool and Wolverine, where it's just like, here's the X-Men, here's Elektra, here's Blade, here's everything. Like, it's just a smorgasbord of like every single thing you saw as a child that you're overloaded and overstimmy. You know, you're like, oh my god, my childhood, and here's $1 billion. But with, you know, that can only take you so far. You know,
Yeah, because I mean,
also need to be
like,
honest.
exactly, like that's the thing too, right? Because I also like would call it exploit. Like the reason I feel like exploitation of nostalgia too is a good term is because it is like, again, we're living in this horrible financial time, horrible political time. So many people are upset and scared, and when you get these things that are like, oh, I remember watching this and liking this, and it felt better at that time. Okay, this is gonna make me feel good. I can recapture a piece of this youthful joy I felt before everything got scary. It sucks to then go and be like, well, this didn't feel very substantive, you know? It's like you said last time, it's a lot of icing, and icing is delicious, and we love icing.
Yeah.
But like, now what after that? And I think, like, honestly, if I may too, I think it is interesting what they decide to do with Stinky 2.0 now. That they were like, he is, you know, like, okay, we're doing this character where he doesn't want to be like his dad, which is, you know, a very fruitful character choice if you do it in the right way and if you can make it work. Because A, it's like tale as old as time, people can really relate to that. And also it's like a classic narrative arc to have. But they did it in this way where I felt like it was kind of emblematic almost of like the way Disney has been doing everything with Star Wars, at least sort of recently, which is very sanitary and very not risky, you know, because it wasn't just like I don't have a problem with him not wanting to be a crime lord. That's an interesting turn to have for a Hutt character, especially because it's like part of their entire thing is being crime lords. But to like have it be like, it felt so almost like spiritually cop like to have him be like, I don't want to be a crime lord, I just want to beat the shit out of people in a fighting ring for people to bet on, like, and they're cheering for me. Like, what? I feel like there was like it was like such a I felt like this about so many things in that movie. There was so much potential in this storyline, and then they made this choice with it where I was like, I simply don't understand this choice. It makes me confused about who this character is. It makes me confused about this character's maturity levels as well, because in one breath, they're like, I don't want to be like my father. I understand my family and the impact they have on people. I don't want to be like that. In another breath, they're like, I'm happy for people to gamble on me. And also I'm happy to, essentially kill multiple people in
I'm sure that gladiator that he body slammed is not okay.
No, I don't think that people are coming back from the ROTta the Hutt fights. At least if they're not coming back in a body bag, they're not coming back right, at least.
No, they're
and then like,
yeah.
and then we have this other moment where he's like, yeah, you know, like your kid's gonna be okay. I wouldn't trust that opinion coming from you. I don't even understand what his like maturity level is meant to be. Like, it was just so confusing, and like I was saying, it felt like such a fertile ground. But then I was like, I just don't feel like we're making any firm decisions here,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like us to make a firmer decision. How did you feel in that regard?
I mean, I think that it's baffling because as interesting as a character that he like just doesn't make sense because he just needs to be where the story needs him to be. And
Yeah.
but I will say that I do appreciate them including him in the end, right? And being like, oh,
Yeah. Oh
I
my
want
God.
to stick around and I want to stay with the New Republic because it's one of those things where Star Wars is very guilty of doing, where it's just like an entire race of people are evil. You know, it's like
Yeah.
all the Trandoshans are evil bounty hunters. All the sluts. we no we
all
support
the all
we
the
support
sluts.
sluts here. All the Hutts, all the Hutts are evil gangsters. You know, it's like this stereotypical thing of like a race. You're defined by your race, which is
Hmm.
racist, right?
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that there has been a lot of reform, or at least attempts at reform in that in Star Wars, and we saw a lot
Hmm.
of that in, especially in the High Republic, right? High Republic, we have Trandoshan
Hmm.
Jedi Masters, we have like
Oh yeah.
all different kind of species be in roles that would not be afforded to them if it were up to Uncle George. Sorry,
I
but
heart High
George
Republic books.
George loves his stereotypes, and you know
George says the
he's a
sand
man
people.
he's a man of his time, and we love you, George. We love you. We
And I hope that you never tell us any way you feel about trans people unless it's
yes,
positive,
just
George.
shut the fuck up until
Never
you
make a
die. Yeah.
single statement unless it's positive.
You are good where you are. Open that
Yeah.
museum and shut
Being
up.
silent with your
Yeah.
beautiful wife, doing good things for the arts. You keep that
That's
up,
what,
baby girl.
yeah, you just wait till you die to have all your personal notes come out because then we can do Death of the Author. Um, but yeah, so having ROTa stay and be like part of the New Republic, I'm like, okay, great, because then you know
Yeah,
you're
that was exciting.
breaking that stigma of what the Hutts are, which is just like these gangsters. Like, no, you don't have to be defined by your culture or heritage or
Hmm.
parent or parentage, right? You can become,
Hmm.
as to quote ROTa, you can become your own man.
You can become your own man,
And
and I like that.
I want to see him in a New
Exactly.
Republic flight suit or something. It's like I want to see them
I
do
know. I want to
a
see
hut
him
version.
and Zeb, and Zeb's husband Callus all hanging
Yes,
out together. Zeb's canon husband Callus, all hanging
hair
out together.
hair down. It is Pride
Hair
Month.
down. It is Pride Month. But I would love to see that like that. And like that's something I will say because again, I don't want this to come off like overly negative. I will say something this film made me feel was I'm like, okay, I feel like there's a lot of stuff we can do going forward, and
Mhm.
I hope to see them do good stuff with this, especially with ROTta's character. I would eat up seeing ROTta's character in like, especially as you were saying, like getting to redefine what we think of as like what Hutt roles are. I mean, hey, he's already hot, which I don't think any of us were expecting
Are
from
you
the
firmly
Hutts.
on the ROTa hot train?
Yeah, he's a beefcake. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Actually, emotionally, I don't know if
I've
I'm
been seeing a lot
attracted
of
to.
like hear me out stuff, and I was like I don't know where people stand, so I'm curious. I'm curious.
Yeah, I am. I am the also like resident member of the podcast who does the Hear Me Out series on my channel. I feel like I'm the resident freaked up member of the
We
podcast
all need
for
one. We all
dealing
need
with
one.
this.
We need to be kept in check.
I think ROTta is yes, hot. I think that I would hate his personality after a little
Interesting. Well,
while. But
he
also
has
okay,
none yet.
I before I that's true. That is true. I would hate him seeming to do what he's done in every scene, which is go, I'm not like my father. Which is like kind of a meme and kind of funny, which is why I liked it. But I don't think it was like they meant for it to be a meme, you know?
No,
Like it
no.
didn't it doesn't feel like which is like why I wouldn't classify it as camp. It's like it's just silly, kind of.
Yeah.
But I feel like, all of this kind of brings us to our second part of the episode because we're talking so much about like our feelings and how much, like we felt about it, and also kind of like talking about the responses we were getting on our feelings on
Yes.
it. So let's talk a little bit because we got some
We got
write-in
questions.
questions from our lovely
This is
followers, fans,
exciting.
supporters of
Yeah.
the pod, which we thank you guys so much for submitting questions if you did. And if we don't get to your question, apologies. But yeah, let's get into some submissions from the do we have a name for our fans? Do you guys have a
No,
name?
not yet. We should probably brainstorm
Okay, yeah.
that a little bit. I don't want to say anything
Comment
and commit to it. No.
if you guys are fans and you would like a name. We're gonna give you one either way, but comment down below some ideas that you have on whatever platform you're listening to this on that allows you to comment.
Otherwise, we'll do what we must.
Otherwise,
We'll do what we must.
You have no say.
I'll start with some that I got on our end, which are I think easy. I don't know if we were gonna do this as a lightning round, but Alex428923 asks us which, and this is I think appropriate because we did touch on this a little bit. Which High Republic book would you suggest to read first? Nat, have you read any High Republic?
I have read, yes. I'm actually currently making my way through some of the High Republic books. They always make I kind of like, I feel like I run into this a lot with Star Wars, where I kind of forget that like Star Wars more often than not is like extremely tragic. and so I keep on listening to the High Republic books.
Everyone
and I'm like,
dies.
oh my god, I love all these new characters. I'm so excited. And then I'm like emotionally devastated at the end. But I feel like because I'm only beginning to make my way through them, I don't necessarily have a really good recommendation of what to start with. Do you have? I feel like you're more the master of like the books here, so
I wouldn't like to say master, but
tome keeper.
It's let's say it's primary, right? It's not master bedroom anymore. It's a primary bedroom.
Yes.
So I would say primary. I don't know. I'll come up with terminology later.
You're the pack prime.
Sure. I say, and it's gonna sound like just a dumb answer, but I think just Light of the Jedi. Start where it started. Like I think that book one just kicks ass, and I think it's a really good entry point because it kind of establishes all the stakes of everything. I think does a pretty good job at introducing the era, all the characters, or at least most of the characters that you'll see. So I think that's a good one. I'll stick to that.
It's a tone setter.
It's a tone setter, yeah. And if you like that, you keep going.
Yeah, and I think like just be aware, things will be sad.
It's not a joyful. See, well, I think
it is joyful. It's
the comics, the Daniel Jose older ones, the adventures.
I haven't gone into the comics.
Those are allegedly fun. I haven't read those, but those are supposed to be fun.
But yeah, just be aware. It's very cool. It's very fun. It's also really fun because it's like you get to see this completely different iteration of the Republic that we're not used to seeing, where it's like a well-established government.
What would government look like if it cared?
I know.
And but not like, that different,
sometimes the Republic sus, I feel like, in the New Republic books.
Very well, we haven't seen a lot of it. Anyway, next question. Velociranger asks, what do you want for the future of Star Wars? Cue irresponsible speculation. Ooh, I want. See, I was gonna be mean. I'm not gonna.
I'll go first. Okay, I'll go first.
You go first.
I would love to see Star Wars to continue to like have sort of what we've been seeing, which is almost like a something for everyone kind of approach, where like you have things like Andor, which are obviously for an older audience, also for it's more political, like in its, or at least more overtly political, I would say, than like some other Star Wars is. And then, you have things like The Bad Batch, which is like maybe skews younger and stuff like that. Like I love that. I think Star Wars has always been this way, at least like when it was doing, like when it was just the main movies and then we had the books and the comics and stuff like that. But like now we have a massive budget to have more on screen stuff. And I would love to keep seeing more on screen stuff that can kind of like attract everyone, because the more people that love Star Wars, the more Star Wars we get. And I love that. I would also love, though, for them to continue to, in everything, keep a somewhat political thing in mind, because Star Wars has always been not like necessarily saying one thing or another, but like Star Wars has always been a political IP.
Yeah.
It's called Star Wars. You can't. And so I would like to see them continue to keep those themes, even if it's just like, yeah, well, if this, if someone is abusing someone else's rights, you should help stand up for that person. Even just like little things that are just like good messaging to kids, like help stand up for other people, stuff like that. I want to see them keep that and not just give us like fluff necessarily. And I would like for them to perhaps not take themselves more seriously, but like maybe put more trust in fans to be able to like enjoy things with more substantive plots and support things with more substantive plots, instead of just being like, look at the baby doll, don't you want to see it again?
I vibe with that. I think that my answer is going to be similar to that, and also more because one of the failures, at least to me, for the sequel trilogy, and and Star Wars media for the most part, is that currently is that we haven't really seen a lot of, and I think it was a overcorrection from the prequels. Like the prequels gave us so much politics that now actually none of it. So the sequel trilogy didn't really give us anything about the New Republic, and I am really kind of invested in seeing a lot of that.
They really gave us nothing about that, actually. You're so right.
So, and the morsels that we've gotten of it in Mando and Ahsoka just haven't been enough, at least for me. So I would like to see something like the Clone Wars animated series, where it fills the gap between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, and we can see what
it would
Luke's
do so
Jedi
much
Academy was, like what the politics of the galaxy were. And definitely animated would be, I think, a great way to explore all of that and see more New Republic things. And on that note, I would also like to see what the New Republic is, I guess. Like what post Episode 9 State of the Galaxy we're gonna get. Like I want to see Rey's Jedi Academy. I want to see the New Republic, which I hope has a better branding than that and calls itself something cooler, like Nouveau Republic, I guess.
The Nouveau Republic.
The Nouveau Republic, and see what the State of the Galaxy is past then, because I think a lot of what we've seen is very self-contained and not as expansive as Clone Wars was. So I would like to go in that direction, but you had some questions also. Well, not you.
I did. I got some submissions from my boys over on my side of stuff. Okay. Where's one of my favorite ones? Okay. This is a good one. This is from Marin D&D Adams, and it is, what moment made us, like, as individuals, the most, like, what moment can you remember becoming the most emotional during, like, Star Wars? Anything. Let's keep it to on screen, shall we?
Interesting, because I feel like I'm dead inside, so I don't really feel.
That's a goose.
I don't really feel a lot. But I would say
says the man who's just been like passionately yelling about Star Wars for the past hour.
Fair. But I would say Force Awakens. That scene when the music just cuts off and Han yells at Kylo Ren, Ben. Like that whole sequence, I was just thinking into my seat
and sons,
because I knew where it was going. Harrison Ford. Spoiler alert: Harrison Ford wanted to kill off Han Solo for decades. So that the moment that he yelled Ben, I was like, I know it's happening. So I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, that one's really tough. I think Yeah, for me it is now. And I mean there's so many moments genuinely. Okay, so right now I'd say old like original Star Wars is going to be Master Skywalker. There are too many of them. What do we do? Horrible. It still gets me every time. I
Oh,
sob during
as a
that movie.
negative, like if it makes you feel
No,
sad or you feel
it makes me
joy.
feel so sad. I
Okay, because like
sob
it's
when that
become such a
happens.
meme now that I never know
No, I
where
don't feel
people are.
joy when the children die. I'm, I'm not that meme brained. Um, and then in the newer ones, oh my god, when um when in the Obi-Wan show, when he and Vader are fighting,
Mhm.
and like he has the moment of being like when Vader's like, Anakin's dead, I'm all that remains.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
just like, I think this really speaks to also just like Ewan McGregor's acting chops, right?
Yeah,
Just the way that he like responds to that, it just makes me so just like, I just really like the way that that entire series actually deals with like Ewan McGregor's or Obi-Wan's like PTSD and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I find that very emotionally moving. So yeah, for me, those would be the ones I think that like really stand out. I'm quite an emotional watcher, though. I get very emotional during
I
like
I I don't.
even
It's so
during
weird. It's
Mando
so
and
bizarre.
Grogu. Even during Mando and Grogu, when Mando was like, "I'll be right behind you, buddy." I hate when they do that in movies. That shit makes me cry every time. I'm like, he's not gonna be right behind him.
He's gonna die, except he won't. I
Except he
will.
doesn't because
I
there were no
will.
stakes.
I
Except
will. I will add. I will add, and this is gonna be like also so telling of my emotions watching things. Luthen's monologue, I think, in Andor season one.
oh,
Well,
amazing.
and that great made me feel things, which is very bizarre. But also, I think the in season two, when Clea goes to the hospital to get rid of Luthen,
Oh,
that whole thing,
oh,
I was just
oh.
cutting back to the flashbacks of when
They
they
were,
were she
yeah.
was a child. I felt like my heart beat maybe twice during that
And the
sequence.
Grinch's heart grew 3 times that day.
It was an Andor-sized amount.
And Andor sized him out. Okay, I have another question. Because it is Pride Month, this is from J J Nitch 003, and it is, what is in your opinion one of your favorite gay slash queer like ships in Star Wars, like as a couple?
Interesting. Interesting. I mean, there's only one answer, right? And it has to
Yeah,
be Seb and Callus.
yeah. I would say that ties I think with Poe and Finn for a lot. I would say as well.
Well, the problem with the Poe Finn one is that they were cowards about it, and then
Cowards.
For Rise of Skywalker, they decided to give Poe that horrible Zori Bliss moment where it's just like, when no, like, oh well, I like
I know.
girls, and I was like, what? Like, just commit, just
Make him.
do it.
I know. And then they were like, yeah, like, oh, maybe he'll have a romance with Ray, but we're
Dumb,
not.
dumb.
We're not gonna do that. Yeah, ridiculous. How dare they? And now they're trying to rewrite the truth of Zeb and Callus. How dare they?
Maybe it'll be a throuple with ROTta. You don't know.
Oh my god!
Dumb. You never know.
Not
I
even
saw
I could have.
I
Even
saw
I
how
could have come
ROTta
up
was
with
like
that.
moving, like rolling around. I was like, he can do some damage. So that's all I have to say about that.
Rod of
What's it called? What's it
polycule.
called? A polycule. That's the word I was gonna use. I'm like, I feel like Huts. I feel like Huts.
Oh no.
Not
Okay, this is. I'm
polycules.
actually gonna make a video. I'm gonna make a reel about this. This is one of the reels I've been cooking up. They definitely showed us slug sex in that
You think
movie at
so?
one point.
People keep
I think
saying that. I'm
that's
just
what
like, they
was
were just taking a
happening when
nap.
they were all slopping around together in a pile.
I thought they were just vibing.
They might have just been vibing. They
That's me,
might have
but
just been vibing.
maybe I'm
But
just an innocent child.
I mean, I was like, I saw that. I was like, is there a slug orgy happening on screen?
I've seen that. Not just from you. I've seen other people suggest this.
Yeah, I've
Like,
never had an original thought before in my life.
so no, that's not true. But when I saw the movie for the fourth time, I tried to make sure on
You
40X,
were
mind
like,
you, I was like, I'm gonna look for that Hutt orgy. But the seat was moving around too much, so I couldn't see it.
oh my god, I forgot you saw it in 40X.
It
And
was
you were like,
probably
this
my
wasn't
favorite viewing.
intended for people of my age group because you were like, my body
No,
is in pain.
it was like my lower back, like
Dude,
Jesus.
I can imagine. My lower back hurts from just sitting in regular
I
chairs.
went down to the laundry and I was out of wind. Like my
No.
legs hurt. I'm just like bad. Anyway, we had. I think we have time for like maybe one more.
Okay. Let me see. What's it? Oh, okay. Actually, if I may, this is a question from my fiance that I promised I would pose to the
Oh
group
yes.
because he wanted to submit one. How much longer do you think they'll milk Grogu?
Actually, I think that's a very uh, important question right
I
now,
do
especially
too.
after we just discussed what's happening with the box office and how this movie might actually not do the numbers that they were hoping for. But that being said, he's a I think merchandising opportunity that will never die. He will live on in toys and plushies and all kinds of events. We know they're gonna plug him like just like L3 in Solo, and when she was imprisoned, her consciousness into the Millennium Falcon. They've imprisoned Grogu on Smuggler's Run and Galaxy's Edge, so he will live there forever. Also,
He's also in The Sims now too.
so I think that they will market him at infinitum. I just don't know if there will be more Mando films.
I I just feel I don't know if there will be more Mando films. I think they'll keep making the show though for quite a while.
I don't think so.
No?
I
You think
think
it's done? You
I
think this
think
is
it.
it?
I think this might be it. I mean, what
I
do
feel
I know?
like
I'm
Pedro
always wrong.
Pascal wants it to be done.
I mean, it's the easiest money he makes. He doesn't have to do
I know, but
anything.
like that's so true. I know. Especially after I've learned. I knew, okay, I would like to clarify something. I knew he didn't do his own stunts, just so we all know. I wasn't under the impression that Pedro Pascal was doing stunts. I just thought that, like, and I think this might be because, like, I'm an actor, but
A thespian.
I I would want to be in my role as much as possible, but I also understand that's not how movies work because they have to pay people. um, but I'm like, it's such an interesting thing to me because, like, the only thing I can see them doing, because, like, I don't know, to compare this sort of to, like, for example, Marvel, with a character that I feel like gets brought up with Grogu as sort of a similar marketing thing
Hmm.
is what's
Maybe
the
Groot.
trees? Baby Groot. Baby
Yeah,
Groot.
but he's a
They
teenager
let
now.
Groot. I know they let him become a teenager. Let Baby Yoda age. At least let him start to speak.
I
I feel
do.
like he loses his marketability when he starts talking. Is the unfortunate thing.
I do think that he has a lot of opportunity to show up like in the new Ray stuff, because it's one of those
Yeah.
things where he's. I mean,
It.
I don't know how many decades
Okay.
into the
No, because
future Ray is to Mando because I'm bad with math, but he'll
I
be
think it's like
he'll be a
20
little
years.
older. He'll be a
I
little
think it's
older.
20 years. Yeah, I know. And I'm like, they have to let him age at some point, right?
Mm.
But also they have to do it in a way that makes him still marketable. But also, like, I don't know. I just simply personally don't know how to envision an in between of the Yoda species that isn't extremely old or baby.
I'm more concerned about what does he sound like when he starts to speak. Like, is he's
He's just gonna say a bunch
like,
of
hey
racist
Ray?
shit.
Yeah, it's like, or maybe he
Actually,
has
they won't.
Pedro's voice, just Pedro's voice.
Yeah, the actual reason they don't let Baby Grogu speak is because he has a bunch of really poor political tapes.
Probably. I mean, he was kind of single, only child, a single
Only
dad, raised in a
child.
cult. It's the odds are not in his favor. Let's put it that way.
Anti-woke Grogu.
He's like oh my God, not Samuel Alito, the Supreme Court Justice. Oh my God, Clarence Thomas. It's like
Oh,
I will
Clarence.
advocate against everyone that I will pull up the ladder after me. Anyway, we're not getting political here now at the end of this, even though this is
We're
Definitely a
As a
political
podcast,
podcast.
we've never been political.
No, never. The
We're
identity of the podcast has
marketable,
never been.
and everyone should sponsor us.
Especially Mint Mobile.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. We would love to see you in a Star Wars.
Give us your money, Ryan Reynolds. Oh my God, no! Don't speak that into existence. Don't curse me like that, Goose. As we end this
you know that
episode.
Sean Levy's gonna shove him as a cameo in Starfighter somewhere. They're homies. They're homies. But with that, I think that's a perfect time to wrap up a show where we've been more positive. I think we've been a lot more positive on this one.
We're fair. This is the
fair.
thing.
We're like
not
Fox
negative.
News. We're fair and balanced.
Yeah, we're exactly like Fox News, especially because we're entertainment and not news.
Correct. That's actually factual. But yes, thank you for everyone
Thank you guys
for listening to us. We hope that you've enjoyed our conversation of this little guy, even though I know that we're supposed to
Baby
talk
ROTta is on
about
screen
ROTta
for people
a lot
who are listening.
more, but we kind of used him as a crutch to talk about a lot of other things
our
that are related
podcast.
to him.
We can do what we want.
We can do what we want. Thank you for submitting all your questions. That was great. I think that's a lot of fun. We should continue.
Sorry if we didn't get to your question. We'll do more of these in the future. So we'll
come up with better questions.
Yeah.
And then we'll include it.
Or be my fiance, because that gets you in the door.
That was the equivalent of nepotism.
Yeah, that wasn't nepotism, right?
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, thank you for listening. We have a lot more fun stuff planned. We're very excited to have a completed triad. Just since Anani couldn't make it today, but I think we've been able to make it work, and we're gonna have a lot more consistency moving forward. We do have an interview with the amazing Christian Baver, the author of The Art of the Acolyte, coming out. In a week, I think. I've already filmed it, so I got to push that out, and she was incredible. I forgot that we
have that coming out so soon. Woohoo!
So stay tuned for that. But if you haven't, make sure to follow Nat over on Instagram. TikTok, I guess, is where the kids are also these days.
I'm not on TikTok anymore.
Oh, then just Instagram. There we go.
I don't really put stuff on TikTok anymore. It's just such an unusable app at this point that it makes me sad to go on there.
Great, because I hate saying TikTok. So.
Yeah, I'm very sorry to all of those who are like on Instagram. But my reels are on Instagram. They are also on. Sometimes I put them on YouTube Shorts, but YouTube Short comments make me scared.
Fair.
It's more sinister somehow than the Instagram comment section.
Yeah, I mean, there's some moderation tools you could use, but whatever. Block indiscriminately.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I do make also my own YouTube videos. So follow us here, follow us there, follow us everywhere, and let us know your thoughts on everything that we discussed down in the comments.
Please
share us with your parents, your friends, even your enemies, perhaps.
Especially your enemies. What better way to ruin their day?
Exactly. Yeah. And I guess may the force be with you guys.